Tonight on KGW News.
Holy f***, that car's flying!
Tossing cars like toys and battering town after town. The aftermath of Hurricane Idalia. Plus, sign of the times? The vending machines filled with drugs that reverse an overdose. And later, an uncertain future for one of Portland's largest arts venues.
You know, honestly, we're sort of figuring this out as we go.
How the Keller could be renovated or maybe even replaced. Good evening, everyone. We begin with a mostly cloudy view over the Rose City. 69 degrees on this Wednesday night with something we haven't truly seen in months. Now firmly in the forecast. Ashley Grams is in for Matt, tracking some substantial rainfall headed our way in the next 24 hours. Ashley, how much are we talking about?
Right, David, most models are saying we're going to see at least 1/4 of an inch here in the valley. Let's take a look at the system right now. So you can see we definitely have some space. We had a break in the clouds today. Hopefully you got out and enjoyed that, because we're not going to see the sun at least all the way through tomorrow morning. So you can see this system right off the coast. It's going to make its way in to the coast between 3 and 5 in the morning, but to the valley between 5 and 7 in the morning. So if you're taking off, if you're commuting during that time, expect those roads to be wet and slippery. We have not seen slippery roads in quite some time. We've had at least 2 months of very dry weather, and this is going to hang around, bringing us quite a few showers through the rest of the day as well. So going to be heavier rain in the morning, and then it's going to taper off just a little bit, continue to bring us some cloud cover through the rest of the day, and things aren't really going to clear out until Friday. But let's look at the temperatures as you head out the door tomorrow. 60 all across the board until later in the day. We'll talk more about that rain coming up.
Thank you, Ashley. See you in a few. Now to a new report that says Oregon is not doing enough to get guns out of the hands of people who could be a danger to themselves or to others. And while there's a law in the books that helps officials do just that, it turns out it's not used that often. Alma McCarty is in the newsroom. Alma, what have you learned?
Well, David, these are called red flag laws because they're used when a person exhibits a red flag. When law enforcement or family members believe someone poses a true danger of hurting themselves or others, a court order prevents them from having or getting a firearm.
We need to get the word out. We need to let people know that this is a resource.
A new report found not enough Oregonians know about the Extreme Risk Protection Order Law, or ERPO, and what it can do to keep people safe.
A family member, a household member, member of law enforcement, they essentially petition the circuit court by filling out a notarized petition with facts that, show that the person is a danger to themselves or to others.
Under the red flag law, typically within 24 hours, the court will hold a hearing. And if a judge determines there's clear and convincing evidence, they'll issue an order for the individual to surrender their firearms. ERPO is one of several protective orders in Oregon, but in the 4.5 years it's been on the books, only 564 petitions were filed. Data compiled from 2018 to 2021 shows ERPOs made up less than 1% of all protective orders requested in the state. Ellen Clem works for the Office of the Attorney General.
We've passed this great law. It's a significant resource to keep people safe. We just have to let more people know about it.
Auditors found several other barriers, from the time it takes to request an order to a lack of familiarity with the courts or language barriers. Auditors recommend Oregon push to educate and train on when and how to use the red flag law.
It's like we've worked so hard to get the law passed, and we just think, oh, we've done this great thing. And then we forget that there's still work we have to do on the back end to let people know about it, educate them on how they can utilize it. And I think that that's exactly what we're seeing here.
So, Alma, context is often key. How does Oregon stack up when you compare it to other states with red flag laws?
Well, the Associated Press, David, crunched those numbers. They are referenced in the report, and it turns out we are right in the middle when it comes to ERPO petitions, taking populations into account, of course. Oregon, the AP says, is 10th out of 20 states, so some are doing worse, so to speak, and many others are doing better. David?
Thank you, Alma. Let's get you caught up on tonight's other headlines now. Portland Parks and Rec is investigating the apparent drowning of a young girl at a public pool. They say she was found unresponsive Friday night in the pool at the Montevilla Community Center. Lots of questions here, but we understand 2 lifeguards were on duty and the pool was open at the time. Here's how another parent reacted to the news.
I've been here for many years. I never seen anything like that. It's one of our fear as a mother.
No details on the girl's name or age or how long she may have been in the water. Also in Northeast Portland, investigators are trying to figure out what caused a TriMet bus to cross the street and crash into a tree. This was around 8 this morning at Northeast 45th and Gleason. 6 people on board were hurt. 4 were taken to the hospital, including the bus driver who suffered serious injuries. Multnomah County Transit Police are investigating and will determine the cause. And Oregon taxpayers get set for a record kicker rebate. This happens whenever state revenue outpaces the predicted revenue by more than 2%, meaning the state essentially collected too much in taxes. And those funds go back to taxpayers in the form of a kicker. No, not as a check or cash, but as a tax credit. In total, the state might have to give back $5.6 billion. For the average Oregonian, that would mean $2,100. Check out KGW.com to calculate just how much you can expect. Tonight, a life-saving drug that can reverse the effects of an opioid overdose is now more accessible in Oregon City. New Narcan vending machines, are up and running at the Clackamas County Jail, Transition Center, and the Parole and Probation offices in Oregon City. At the jail, the machine is in the lobby. It is open to the public. The Narcan there is free of charge. The hope is by allowing people to get it anonymously, they will be more likely to seek help for themselves or others.
I think this is one additional way to help connect with people that can be done in the semi-private settings where nobody is asking them the question.
The machines also include personal hygiene products, condoms, and HIV and pregnancy testing kits at no cost.
Holy, that car's flying! What the?
Yeah, no kidding. That is new video in tonight from the Carolinas as now Tropical Storm Idalia continues its slog toward the Atlantic after making landfall in Florida's Big Bend region this morning as a Category 3, then plowing through Georgia. NBC's Jay Gray has a look at the damage left behind.
Good evening, and what a difference a day makes. A beautiful evening here in Gainesville. If you would have told me that this morning when we were riding out this storm, I just wouldn't have believed it. Overnight into the early morning, we saw heavy rain, strong winds, but this storm, once it got over land, accelerated and moved through pretty quickly, allowing teams to get out, allowing repairs to start happening. Along the coastline, that's where Idalia made its most serious mark in Florida. It really ravaged the areas where it made landfall. A wall of water in some places 10 feet high or more. And there was that wind, 125 miles an hour sustained, that ripping apart some of those coastal communities as well. This was a well-organized, intense storm, and we know that because over land, pushing into Georgia, it was still a Category 1 hurricane. There, significant damage, flooding, down trees, and a mess in Georgia as it continued to push through. And the Carolinas now taking the beating. We've seen throughout the evening there tornado watches and warnings. They are getting some severe rain. We've seen water lapping up and over some of the seawalls there. This storm's going to continue to move, and what forecasters are saying is it's going to continue to pack this punch. It could, by late this evening or early tomorrow morning, begin to turn out and back over water where hopefully at that point it's going to fade away, but not without leaving severe damage in its wake. That's the latest from here in Gainesville. I'm Jay Gray. Back to you now.
You're watching KGW News. Straight ahead at 11 tonight, an iconic venue in need of upgrades. Who is now expressing interest in becoming a new home for the Keller? And bigger, brighter, and lighting up the night sky. How long it'll be before the next super blue moon.